So we got a question for Racism 101 about tiki bars, tiki culture, and whether or not they are appropriation. It's a complicated thing because it's both an appropriation and an embracing of this culture. The idea of tiki mugs, mai tais, everything else that went into that vibe was developed by white men in the 1930s. It's an inauthentic recreation of what these white guys imagined as an escape. It's a culture that paints the Pacific Islands as a place of vacation and not a place where people actually live. I personally come from a Hawaiian and Puerto Rican family on my mom's side, with generations stretching back in Hawaii. It's where most of that side of my family still lives. And tiki is, frankly, something most of my family hasn't ever said that they care about. My mom thought it was cute. It was something that she thought was a cool thing. The word tiki is based on a Maori word for a carved image of a god or an ancestor. One reason that a lot of Pacific Islanders aren't bothered by it is because those traditional Hawaiian beliefs have largely died out. Of course, that's in large part due to imperialism, putting different beliefs onto the people of the Pacific Islands. Hawaii was annexed by the US, and a lot of Hawaiian tradition died out with it. There's also a certain positivity to tiki culture, and I think that keeps it from being as widely criticized as it might otherwise be. One way that more progressive people within the culture are trying to change things is by switching from using the word tiki to using the word tropical, trying to take away some of the cultural specifics while also creating a relaxing vibe, the thing that really draws people to it. It doesn't feel so much like appropriation. One struggle that I have had grappling with this question is that doing that also feels to me like taking away representation in culture. Tiki has helped some people to learn about and to care about island culture, including Hawaii. And there's so little representation of Pacific Islanders in popular culture. I find it hard to advocate for the idea of removing any of that, even if it's not authentic. But I am also hoping that we can start to see more positive Hawaiian representation, positive Pacific Islander representation, positive representation for all peoples that is authentic, both to the past and to the breadth of what we all are today. Thanks so much for watching. Thank you for sharing your questions. We all get better when we listen to one another.